The streets talk about. If it ain't making money, ain't nothing to talk about. Keep my mind on them stacks, cause that green give you cloud. If it's bread making, baby, I'ma always go that route. I done put my work in the streets, rapping shot on these beats. A lazy man gon' stop, but a glanner always gon' eat. Everybody can't do what I do, that's why I'm crushing your crew. From Chi-Town, Memphis, Tennessee, and all through the Lou. I'm so fresh and so new, got a hot album too. I came out of nowhere and I'm taking all of these suckers' juice. I keep my promo on them poles, keep that powder out my nose. I'm staying focused, man, with 1 million copies sold. Say my name. What's my name? Say my name. Stayed on my green. I ain't never gonna let nobody talk me out of rolling my team. Y'all know what I mean. It's money on the fans. They think they can outsmart you by selling you a dream. But I stay grinding cause I'm bread making, homie. And they can't figure me out because they really don't know me. You got that paper, show me. My mama didn't name me Toby. These suckers
King Kong ain't got shit on me.
It's real in the field. I'm the lion on the mill. I'm the hollow point
think you fucking with?
that you ready to kill. These suckers better chill. Ask brother Will. The king is in the building, so you haters take a kneel.
The Chicago.
Say my name. What's my name? Say my name.
Well, we are here again. Edit again. Edit again. And edit again. We are where we have been for the last 2.5 months with the WNBA. We are here about controversy. We are here about the credibility of the WNBA, Kathy Engelberg, and it all. We are here because of how Congress spelled it all out for us. This was a big game for Chicago to win. A big game for Chicago to come out as the victor. This was a game that the Chicago fans hoped that we would pull out. And we just did not do that. Us, the Chicago fans, wished that we would come out as a victor, but it just did not happen that way. Welcome to the Gingerbread Man Show. This is Steady Serv'N Sports ENT, an extension of Simply Ball Dropping Podcast with my main man, K-Sap. What's going on, K-Sap? Shout out to the Full Court Trio. Shout out to the Players Club. Shout out to Cut That Ish, Real Talk Sports. Shout out to Court Vision with So Pretty Tony. And shout out Get It Off of Your Chest podcast. Now, check. I want to say first, before I get into it, I want to say hello to my brother from another mother, Brian Lewis. I see MSL, he'll be up here in a minute. MDT will be up here in a minute. And Andy, yes, it has been rescinded. But has DiJonai Carrington been down a level? This is the white privilege that we're talking about. Because there is, I will show you footage of Sophie Cunningham knocking Jacy Sheldon down to the ground, and Jacy Sheldon got up and pushed her back, just like Sophie Cunningham pushed DiJonai Carrington. Jacy Sheldon in that game got kicked out. Sophie Cunningham was able to stay. This is a scary conversation for most white people. This is an uncomfortable conversation for scary black people. This is a conversation where racists blow you off. This is a conversation where black people in the culture feel the pain. Good evening, Juice. I see you, Topi. This is a situation when DiJonai Carrington put up on her social media after being ejected from a game that was played by the Chicago Sky and the Indiana Fever. DiJonai Carrington was ejected because of a simple foul that was called and upgraded a flagrant foul that we've seen Sophie Cunningham do many times in her career. We've seen it so many different times. And yes, she was kicked out the game when she threw Jacy Sheldon down, but Jacy Sheldon was also given a technical for pushing Sophie Cunningham. This is a conversation where when black people use the term white privilege, they generally are not saying that every white person is wealthy, has an easy life, has never suffered, or is personally a racist. The idea is more specific. Being white can mean that your race itself is less likely to create certain additional obstacles or negativity assumptions for you. When you go look up in ChatGPT or Google or wherever you want to go to the Webster Dictionary, historically in the United States, Black Americans lived under slavery, segregation, discrimination, housing, lending practices, unequal access to employment and education. And the other system is where race explicitly affected people's opportunities. Although many of those practices were outlawed, the term white privilege is often used to describe averages or advantages or circumstances that the white man or woman gets. Hey, ADP, that can remain its institution that it has been so long in the beginning of this country. For over the 200 years of the American government being established and over 400 years that we have been here and laid feet on Plymouth Rock in chains. It's the everyday interaction, a social discrepancy, a social effective, progressive mentality, a social defect, a social badge of honor, or a social band-aid of a scar. For example, when the black people say that's white privilege, they might mean I don't believe a black person would have been given the same benefit of the doubt in that situation. It could involve interactions with authority, how someone's anger is interpreted, like Caitlin Clark can cuss out referees. And Natasha Cloud cannot do that and get a technical foul. This is for my people in the back and Andy himself, my boy. Which you all know as white people that does listen to the program and come here, I am not a racist because I cannot be, because I am of the nationality where racists have beaten us, torn us, sick dogs on us, put water on us, having a white sink and having a black sink, having a white interest and a black interest. Come through the front, you go to the back. You can't sit up front, you got to sit in the back. I come from those people, and those people were my mother and father, were my grandmother and grandfather, who was able to live through those type of terms. And me born in 1969, I have the aftermath effect of it all. There is another important distinction. Privilege isn't necessarily something somebody internationally does. A white person does not have to wake up thinking, I'm going to use my white privilege. The concept is about how other people or institutions may respond differently to a white person than it is to a person of ethnicity. At the same time, racial disparities become themselves don't prove that white privilege caused the particular incident. If we are applying the term to a specific situation, for example, two WNBA players receiving different treatment from the officials, the strongest argument would be the conduct, the circumstances, the rules, the officiating, the decisions of the officiating, and the consequences before concluding that race explains the difference. So when many Black Americans say white privilege, what we are communicating is essentially we notice a racial double standard. We're seeing behavior that appears to receive more patience for the white man and woman, more protective of the white man and woman, more forgiveness of the white man and woman, more credibility for the white man and woman, more benefit of the doubt for the white man and woman. And when personally involved with a white man or a woman, the Black is not to be believed and personally receives a non-comparable circumstance. This is usually what happens to us in America. This is usually what happens to us in every field of workplaces, society, and even sometimes in our own homes. This is an effect of the sickness of America. This is an effect of the sickness of Congress passing laws and giving laws and biasness to certain things. It didn't help for Congress to go to the congressional office and ask for protection and put a petition out for Kathy Engelberg to receive that they want more protection for Caitlin Clark. A single individual, a single white person, a single white young lady, or as you guys and Jason Whitlock and the others, a single white straight female that has taken over the game. Sophie Cunningham, see, like my man Andy, he will deny that he's a racist. He will say, I'm not a racist. I cannot be a racist. I'm not a racist. But why are you not in my chat when Sophie Cunningham had already did the same type of offense? Andy, why wasn't you in my chat when Sophie Cunningham had committed worse of the crimes and did nothing but get a foul or upgrade, no suspension? Why wasn't you here to say that that wasn't right or that wasn't wrong? Why? Because of the racial demographic, the disgraceful way that it has always happened with us. You're right. We're wrong. Your view is right. The black one is wrong. White is right. Black is wrong. Angel food cake is white. Devil food cake is black. These are the things in the disparity that we have gone through many, many years in America. The disparity of things that has happened many, many years in this country. There is not one day that I live my life that I go out to find a person or any people to be a racist. All I have to do is just wake up. Do any of you even know what that means? Do any of you understand what that means? Those of us that are looking like me and that has my type of bloodline that comes from the lineage that I come from here in America. I'm not talking about the ones that was over there in the islands that got left, or the ones that traveled over here to be immigrants from the motherland. No, I'm talking about the ones homebred in blood right here in Americas. This is how we all understand what white privilege means, because of the inconsistencies of treatment, because the badness of the heart, because of the way that it should be and the way that it is. Here's a picture of Sophie Cunningham taking down Jacy Sheldon. Same type of thing, Andy. Jacy Sheldon shoved her. Did you know? Or did you remember? Because I'm sure it goes out of your mind of what actually happened, because I told you. The blonde hair, the blue eyes. Have you captivated and caught up in what you think should be happening or the reaction? No, you say, oh, bro, Claude, that's bullshit. Well, I beg to differ. What I do know is that Jacy Sheldon shoved this lady back and she got a technical foul. But did DiJonai Carrington get it? DiJonai Carrington not only got kicked out, but Sophie Cunningham was able to stay in the game. Oh, here's Caitlin Clark with the same type of foul. Oh, I wonder what happened. No, Caitlin Clark didn't get kicked out the game. You know why, Andy? Because she's a white woman. And we all know it. And you know it. But you just won't admit it. And that's where we have a problem with you and you all who don't agree of what I'm saying. Caitlin Clark did not get a flagrant 2. And this is what we're talking about. This is what we're talking about. White privilege. But you don't want to accept it. I could draw this out many times. Many times. And you won't accept it. Because you feel that white is right. And that's the way it is. We are the ones who are wrong, the way we see it. I have receipts when I come up here. I don't bring anything and don't put nothing on the table if I cannot prove it. My colleagues that's up front, the ones who are on my panel, the panelists, they always know that I do all of the investigation that I need. I also was a little bit late, a half an hour, because I was making sure that I came to this platform well informed. Came to this platform because I wanted to give off the right perspective of things. When I run this show is about some real shit. When I come on this panel, I want them to be in the same type of energy and mindset to give the people a show, but also be real in their authentic self. So, as I opened up my whole beginning speech of the show, I just want you to know, Kathy Engelberg, we see you. We see you and what your people do and how they react. And go ahead, white Caitlin Clark's away. And you go ahead and keep DiJonai Carrington's. And don't solve the problem of what I just showed you, that Caitlin Clark did the very same thing. Sophie Cunningham did the same thing. So I dare you to suspend her. Matter of fact, Kathy Engelberg, I want you to call it down to suspend her, because the culture will not let you get away with it. The culture will not let you get away with it. And DiJonai, no, is not asking for you to be suspended, because I don't even think that you deserve the fragrant 2. But DiJonai, your uncle is standing up on that business like you did. And these racist people have to be called out, allegedly. So I'm going to let my people come on in, and I'm going to let them go ahead and start as I landed my plane and give you the introduction of this channel and the subject that this is about. I will let my first person go, which is my co-host and my brother from another mother and helper, MSL. MSL, you could go ahead and you could take it from here. The show is yours.
Well, what's up, bro, Claude?
How you doing, brother?
Just another, I don't know, slow day for all of us, right?
Yep.
Just nothing going
just
on,
keep
right?
Keep on giving. The WNBA, like me and MDT said, they just keep on giving. They just keep
Yeah.
on giving.
Yeah, it's definitely, as someone said, as the dub turns, or the gift that keeps on giving, days of the W, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, I knew when I saw that play with DiJonai that they were going to throw her out the game and give her a flagrant 2, because unfortunately it was Indiana. Some people say Clandiana, which I've said
That's
on
good. I like that.
which I've said on more than one occasion. Clandiana. What's up, MDT?
Evening, MSL. I came up today for 2 reasons. One, to offer support to Bro Claude, and to let you know I'm not ducking you or him. So, but I thought you were ducking me. But please continue.
No, he claimed you was ducking him. He hadn't seen you in a while. I don't know, but that's what he was saying. He was talking smack. That's all I can say.
Oh, he was. So now you're putting it on him. So how come I believe him more than I believe you? And
Thank
the last
you
time I
very
was up here, he was here. You weren't in his moment of need.
When was that, Bro Claude?
Wednesday. He was having a rough night, and I was the only one here for him. And I was like, "Where's MSL?" And he said, "I don't know. He's out there chasing women." And I had to let it go after that.
So where were you the past 3 weeks, according to Bro Claude?
Well, he's not so good with
he was
his
talking about you like a junkyard
with his
dog.
episodic memory.
If he's the one you believe, I feel sorry for you.
We have to go through and rehash.
Got to go find that puppy that's missing.
But to your point, it is the same conversation each time where he's fatigued about something, and I got to talk him off the ledge. So please continue. Hey, big dog, is that you?
Yeah.
You know it is. You know I had to come crash the party.
All right. Okay, so
What's
please
up,
continue. All jokes aside, I'm sorry.
No, I mean, obviously, once she did that foul, I kind of knew what was going to happen because of the team, because of who was involved, and being DiJonai, and also who was involved being Sophie. It was never a question that she was going to get thrown out. Now, whether or not she deserved to get thrown out, I mean, obviously there's arguments for both, because she hit her in the face. And when you hit someone in the face on a breakaway or when they're approaching the rim, it's kind of hard for that not to be a flagrant 2. Now, if she would have put that threads white privilege, it would have been even more appropriate when Clark pushed the ref, whether it was inadvertently, whether it was a soft push, or whether it was a hard push. But we all know from watching the NBA, where we've seen it happen on a few occasions,
No contact.
If you touch a ref, we've seen refs thrown out that were touched inadvertently by the player, because the players are right, because the players arguing with the ref, and then he touches the ref incidentally, and he still gets thrown out. In baseball, the umpire, if you bump him, he throws you out. And not only did she bump this ref, or to touch her or push her, however you want to describe it, but Bro Claude's information, if that was true, was her saying, "Hey, come here. Hey, come here. Hey, come here. Come here." So essentially what you have, it's like you have a rabid dog that's out of control, frothing at the mouth, basically doing all types of crazy stuff on the court, and the league is allowing it to happen. So it was bad enough that she didn't get thrown out. She got a tech. But for the league to now come back and rescind the tech on a weekend, they couldn't even wait till Monday when they were in business hours. They did it. That goes to show you that, and you hate to say it, you hate to bring it up, but it's things like this that show and prove every day that it's a corrupt system. It's a 100% corrupt system, and you're not. What's up?
I want to interject and ask you a question. Okay, so I know you're big on the
sponsors. When y'all done, I'm gonna jump in. When y'all done,
the sponsors are in on this corruption. But do you believe that this was actually a Nike, Sephora, whoever else, Gatorade op, or is it more likely an ESPN op?
Well, it sounds like it's an ESPN thing, because from what I understand, Jessica Lobo was campaigning.
Rebecca Lobo. Did you hear Rucco say this on the broadcast? The guy who's calling the play-by-play. This was what really got my attention. He says, "Listen, if you suspend her don't do it for this game because it's going to be on our network. Do the next one that's on Amazon.
Yeah, I heard that too. Yeah, ESPN was campaigning, and in the upper tiers of management or in the business world or whatever, those are cues or tells that they give, and that was a tell from ESPN. So obviously the league did it, but it just goes to show that the league is it's just basically a banana republic. But the problem is, and this goes back to Ryan Clark's statement, which is the same stuff that I've been talking about every time I've been on these interwebs, just so y'all know. So I'm glad that he reinforced that. But the problem is, no one in the media, just like when Ryan Clark came out and said that, no one in the media covered the story. You know why? Because it was true. If the story was a surprise or if it wasn't true, everyone would have covered it. But the fact that everyone is in on it, CBS, Yahoo, NBC, etc., they're all in on it. So this is why no one responded to what he said. Same thing with this. Unless you're really into the WNBA, you're not going to know, if you didn't watch this game, that she bumped the ref. You're not going to know that she only got a tech and she didn't get thrown out, and you're not going to know that they rescinded it within hours after ESPN protested it. The whole thing was like a kangaroo court. I mean, yes. This is not serious.
And I have another question for you.
Sure.
Okay, so I envision a narrative coming out of this that the white privilege thread post that some people are going to allege it's going to come after the tech on CC, that's going to go and take a life of its own for some people in some of these media outlets. They're going to say she said that because CC got a tech, right? And got away with it, essentially, that sort of thing. What do you think of that?
I mean, they're going to always go after anything DiJonai says because of what took place in the playoffs in 2024. So she's going to always be a target. But if you're asking me that they're taking it as white privilege that once CC got the tech instead of getting thrown out, and or once it got rescinded, you're saying that it's white privilege because she bumped the ref and it didn't happen. Because I'm not sure if that's what DiJonai was talking about.
Yeah, I think it was the her getting thrown out. I think that's the original, because it came out right away. But I think the narrative on some of those outlets, and you know the ones because you've talked about them before, they're going to take the other way, the CC technical and not getting thrown out and subsequently it getting rescinded, as that's what DiJonai was talking about.
Probably not, and I'm only going to say it for this reason. If you're right, I'll tell you, or you can come and tell me, but probably not, because the foul against Sophie is more indefensible. So
that's going to be another one too. That's going to be another.
They can get their crowd riled up by showing what happened to Sophie.
And here's how I see they'll do with that one is that they'll take that image, very similar to the Alyssa Thomas foul on Clark, and they won't give it any context, and they'll see a white woman, innocent white woman, because that's how they characterize it, with DiJonai getting her across the face with the inside of her arm. That's all they'll show. They'll do the same thing, and this will run on the 5 on Fox News, and the guy will be up there chirping about, we don't really want to talk about it, but here we are.
And more politicians may even get involved.
Can I jump in here for a minute? I got a couple of things. One, the DiJonai Carrington thing. Let's get into that first. One, this was a really dumb foul. She was playing good. She ain't even have to go that route. She ain't even have to do all that. That's number one. It was definitely a flagrant. Now, should she been thrown out the game? That's neither here or there. You could flip a coin with that. You understand what I'm saying? But it was definitely a flagrant foul, and more importantly, it was a dumb foul because she was playing well, and she did a disservice to her team by doing that.
And
that's number one.
They possibly could have won the game.
Yeah, I'm saying if she stays on the court, they could have won that game. That's what I'm saying. She did a disservice to her team by doing that. So let's just put that there. And two, DiJonai Carrington is the WNBA's version of Draymond Green. She can't do certain things that other players could do. If that would have been Sydney Taylor, we wouldn't be having this conversation.
Oh, wait a minute.
You understand what I'm saying?
Are you
But
saying she's
DiJonai
the
Carrington comes with the history.
Is she
So
the
certain things
Burfict of
that
this
other
league?
players could do, she can't do. You understand what I'm saying? Like,
she's
she
Vontaze
can't do
Burfict?
certain things because she has history already. So she wasn't thinking. I think she just kind of lost her head in the moment. You understand what I'm saying? There's certain
agree.
things that she can't do that other players can do. That's just the reality.
So she's Vontaze Burfict. That's what you're saying. Vontaze Burfict of the Bengals.
No, I'm just saying her history precedes itself. It's just like Draymond Green can't do certain things that other players could do. I'll give you an example. You remember in Game 4 in the NBA Finals when Wemby threw Jalen Brunson to the ground? Wemby was supposed to get thrown out, but because he's Wemby, they didn't throw him out. If that would have been Draymond Green, his ass would have got thrown out.
What was the
Why?
series
Because he's Draymond Green.
Wasn't there a
And he
series
has
where
a
Draymond
history.
got suspended in a Game 6 and essentially tilted the series?
Right. No, I'm just saying, but he got suspended because of his history. I'm just saying DiJonai Carrington's history warrants that kind of attention where she can't do certain things.
Here's where I'll agree with the questioning of the line that MDT has. So, and I'm interrupting because obviously I was originally speaking.
Did you hear that? He said he agrees with me, bro. Clyde, you hear this?
BD chimed in. So I'm just going to chime in. Well, I think I even though you may have reputations, unless something is really, really, really bad, on the lines of bad breakaway fouls, that was what you normally see with a bad breakaway foul. It wasn't like what Alyssa Thomas did to Angel in 2024 when she first came into the league. It wasn't even like what Isabel Harrison did to Angel when she came into the league, and some of the other tough hits that we've seen. Like this, it was a bad hit, but we've seen this before in the WNBA when people have breakaways and they hit people really hard. So in that context, I don't think DiJonai should be punished because of her reputation. Now, what I did say on Bro Claude's broadcast was because it was Sophie, because it was against Indiana, if you do something like that, they're going to punish you because this came after they lost to the Aces, where Clark, had by all intents and purposes, a terrible game, and they had to reestablish the Clark mythos. So getting DiJonai out the game, who was playing well offensively, and she's going to play well defensively. So getting her out the game was going to be priority. And as you're saying, BD, she just walked right into it. Now, there was a time that Sophie moved her arm, and I don't know if you guys agree with me, but was it because Sophie moved her arm? Maybe DiJonai would have hit her forearm if Sophie didn't move her arm instead of hitting her in her face. I mean, that's the one thing that I see to go.
From what I've seen, it's definitely flagrant. You can't hit somebody in the face and it not be a flagrant. I don't care who it is. You can't hit somebody in the face over, from the neck up and it not be a flagrant.
I'm glad you brought that up. So did Aaliyah Boston get thrown out when she clearly and strongly hit Kalia Papa with her elbow?
No, stop.
No.
You got that clip, bro,
BD.
Because she didn't. I don't even think she got a flagrant one assessed to her.
I think he's going to show the clip.
Wait, hold on a second. Hold the fuck on. First of all, BD, I don't go for that shit of somebody wouldn't have done whatever. Being that Sophie Cunningham, who the fuck?
Yeah, she had a bad reputation herself.
And who the fuck?
What she did to Jacy Sheldon.
And who is Caitlin fucking Clark? The whole fucking rat race.
I think MSL.
Oh no! Listen, I ain't even getting to the Caitlin Clark shit yet because that was egregious too. You can't just hit a ref, bump a ref, and not get a tech or get thrown out. Where they do that shit?
Broadcast. She bumped the goddamn ref.
Yeah, you can't bump the ref and not get thrown out. That was some bullshit.
And then for the motherfucking nerve, she telling the ref, "Come here, come over here, come here." That's the white.
Yeah, she should. Yeah, she should.
Yeah,
definitely
that was
be
crazy work.
suspended and definitely be out. And
Yeah,
one thing the
anybody else,
WNBA has
that's a
shown.
suspension.
I mean, what
And
am
one
I
thing the
looking at?
WNBA
I mean,
shown
what am I
In
listening?
any sport, you can't touch the referee and not be punished. That's insane work.
Okay, then, goddamn
In
it.
any sport,
So
you
if
can't touch the
if
ref.
they miss that, goddamn it, they need to miss the other. Don't punish me, cause see, you bring the worst out of me. I'm just telling you what type of person and human being that I am. You bring the worst out of me.
Well, Bro Claude, if I can say this.
Hold on. I'm expressing my motherfucking self, please.
Get that off your chest.
Agreed.
I am the worst type of person. Me. I'm talking about myself. I'm not talking about my members on the panel. I'm not even talking about my family that is on the Simply Ball Dropping networks. I'm talking about me. I am the worst type of person to get mistreated and see something that is egregious to me and someone that does the same in particular, no matter what color you are, because my grandmother tell you that I was the same way across the board, white, black, yellow, red, brown, purple, or yellow. If I feel there is a disparity in treatment, you're going to bring the worst out of me. And you could take it how you lead, how it's said. You will bring the worst out of me because I believe in fairness. I believe in, which I know that's just not a reality. I know it's not a reality, but I do it out of righteous talk. And I also want us to all be very, very careful about this subject that we're talking about, because we know that this subject is very sensitive. I don't want to be a part of being accused of biasness. So I'm seeing it from all different types, BD. I'm seeing it from all different types, MSL. I'm seeing it from all different avenues, MDT. The girl was going after the ball. She committed a hard foul, fine. It was in the moment. If you want, it was definitely a flagrant foul. If you wanted to give her a flagrant 2, fine. I didn't say nothing on the broadcast.
Your issue is what happened with Clark.
My issue is the same type of thing in event and more disrespectful, because if we
and she also has a track record of disrespecting.
This is authority. This is something that's repetitious. You're a repetitious felon, ain't that right? MDT, MSL,
yeah, let me
BD. You're repetitional. You
repeat offender.
Repetitive.
Yeah, and I like to speak to that next.
Offender. You continuous, like this picture right here. She disrespecting the black woman right here, the referee, and she was doing it today. She's repetitive of it.
And apparently
nothing happened. Nothing
and apparently
happened.
This happens a lot against.
Yeah, it does happen a lot.
They
let Caitlin Clark get away with murder when it comes to the referee.
Shit about she knew better. Caitlin Clark knew better than to push the goddamn referee. What the fuck?
No, that should have been automatic ejection.
What are you talking about?
Whether it was intentional or not.
Don't pull my goddamn chain, man. Don't fucking pull.
The intent doesn't matter. You're right, MSL.
It's the same thing. It didn't happen. So let's not harp on what the fuck DiJonai Carrington should have known better of. This motherfucker over here, she know not to even be doing it or challenging a referee, let alone bump a referee, then challenge the referee, then tell the referee to bring her ass here.
But
here's out of here. You bring the
here's the thing. Here's the thing, bro, Cord, and I hate to make this political, but it is what it is at this point, right?
I know you're gonna keep it all the time.
It's one thing to have the right to do something. It's another thing to be in the position to do it. It's two different things.
Yeah, but you know what?
That's the privilege. That's what we're talking about.
But you know what? I don't.
Privilege.
But I don't go for that argument for this reason. And I've said this many, many times on your show.
Yeah.
I think BD, and I'm not singling out BD, I'm just making a point. BD seems to think that Caitlin Clark has the power. Caitlin Clark doesn't have the power. It's the league and the people behind her that have the power, because if Clark had the power, she would have said something. She would have done something. If Clark had the power, she wouldn't have signed a corporate deal when she came into the league in 2024, because it has certain stipulations. This is what Diana Taurasi was talking about when she said they tried to make me straight and they tried to make me this, they tried to make me that. They tried the same thing with Sabrina Ionescu, but her best friend is Black Satu, and she said, no, I'm not going to play the racism card. They wanted to do this with Brianna. Brianna said no, because she's a lesbian and she was going to not try to change. They tried it with Paige, and you already know how Paige feel. And they tried it with Angel so she could play along and be the foil. And she said, hell no, because Angel had already came into the league making millions of dollars. Clark did not make millions of dollars until the WNBA hooked her up through NIL in 2024.
I'm sorry, not for the week. I'm sorry, not for the week. I'm telling, not for the week. I'm sorry. I didn't.
What happened? You a person?
Yeah. It pisses me off, but you bring out the worst of me. When we suppose I'm not gonna beg down from you, Andy. I'm gonna look you dead in your eye, and we gonna go motto a motto. I'm an 8-year veteran. I'm going to look at you in your eye, me and you in a gauntlet. And however it comes out, see, you're afraid of that. That is what you guys are afraid of. The truth, the outcome of it all, the realness of it all.
If I may, let me give you some perspective to Andy. If the gentleman.
Go ahead.
What did Andy say? Or what did?
Well, I'm assuming he is Indiana fan or Clark fan. So. And I've said this repeatedly on Bro Claude. MSL was here for some of that. Big Dog, I don't think I've ever said this on your channel, but Caitlin Clark has had issues with refs all season.
Yes.
And has crashed out during games. And that's one thing. Okay. If you're doing that and you can chalk that up as being competitive, whatever. But when you all of a sudden get indignant in the post-game pressers saying things like, hey, if they tee me up again, I guess I'm just going to miss the game. You guys are just going to have to choose one.
Yeah,
not once,
about that.
but twice. And here we are. And I made the argument at the time that you really think they're not going to talk to each other? These refs aren't going to understand what you're trying to do? You think they're going to give you any grace or want to give you any grace going forward? So for me, with this, your issue isn't the 8 tech. The issue is that you had 7 coming in when you shouldn't even have that many. You shouldn't we shouldn't even be here with this.
Well, the 7 that she has should have probably been 14, because there are many times
that's an argument. Yeah,
there are many times she's cussed refs out and no tech was ever given.
Right. Exactly, but that's
the thing. It's one thing to curse a ref out, right, and get a tech. It's another thing when you physically putting your hands on them.
Yeah.
When you get to the point where you could put your hands on the ref and not get thrown out, that's not a Caitlin Clark thing. That's a league WNBA.
But I'm glad both of y'all. Sorry, but I'm glad both of y'all said that, and we can get to the politics later. But I'm glad both of y'all said that, because watch. No one on ESPN, CBS News, NBC News, Fox, Yahoo, whatever. This won't be a story. Just like the day the Alyssa Thomas thing happened. If y'all remember, she got benched at 3 minutes and 15 seconds in the third quarter. She got pulled out. Coach White spoke to her assistants. Bria January, her last name January.
Jerry Maguire, you are insane.
She went to Clark and asked her to leave. Clark didn't want to leave, and then Stephanie herself asked her to leave. She waited for the huddle. When the huddle was over, she tapped 5, and then she walked out with visible disgust, followed by the general manager. So what a lot of people believe is that They didn't want that to be the headline. So immediately, Alyssa Thomas gets suspended retroactively, and that becomes the story. And once again, no one in the media discussed her being pulled, benched, and walking out on her team. So what happens is everything that's negative that happens with Clark, and there's a lot. It's either ignored, covered up,
he was
and
beating
or not
on
discussed.
The bench today with the cameras.
And when it has to be discussed, they just say it, get it over with, and they move on. But she pouts. They've been trying to get her to play off the ball, wing, or some variation of it for the last 3 years, and she refuses to do it. She refuses to do it
because Kate Martin was the point guard. Go ahead.
Right. She refuses to do it. She played best at Iowa when she wasn't the point guard, but because she wanted to play point guard. So when we say she has sloppy handles, when we say she has a lot of turnovers, when we say she's not a natural passer, she's a volume passer and a volume shooter, we saw all of that in that game against the Aces. They're up 20 points. She had 8 assists in the first half. She didn't have any more assists the rest of the half.
6 turnovers.
She got those 6 turnovers while they made their run. I mean, she took a couple of 25-footers, especially with 1 minute left when you're supposed to, work the ball around the court, etc. That play with Asia, they were up by a point. They were up by a point. She didn't have to do anything except get fouled. But because she missed those 2 free throws, which we've seen her do before in tight contests, she did it against Washington, but she got saved when Cody jumped out of bounds and she was able to hit the 3-pointer. Kudos to Clark, but she had missed the 2 free throws before that. And then that play with Asia, not only could she not drive by her, she couldn't feint her, she couldn't fake her, she couldn't take her off balance, but then she tries an errant pass. Asia gets it. So then she jumps into Asia, tries to pull her down, and when the ref doesn't make the call, she flops. And this is the most egregious thing out of everything I just said. With less than 10 seconds left, instead of you running back and playing defense, or helping on defense, you lay on the ground and waddle like a fish out of water trying to get the call, and then Chelsea Gray hits the game-winning shot. Most coaches would have benched you and threw you out the game.
On the floor, Chelsea Gray clutching them out.
Right, you would have had most coaches. You would have had a mysterious ailment the next game. It seems like they went through all that with her in the middle of the season. The mysterious suspensions and this, that. Last year, she mysteriously didn't play 3/4 of the season. So I don't know if everything is coming to a head and they feel, look, Caitlin, this is your last year. If we don't make you MVP, or if we don't this, or if you don't win a championship, your stuff is done. Because
it sound good, but that's not it. I'm going to tell you what it really is. They don't want no more government intervention, dude. That's what it basically boils down to. I know. Listen, just hear me out.
Clark's whole arrival is fraud.
I understand the ESPN stuff, but once you get Congress to start writing letters to your fucking sports, and when you got a Congress like the one we have now that could legislate some shit and fuck up people's bottom line,
but I think that's when the
game changed.
But
changes after that.
But BD, I think the congressional stuff is just to light a fire for the congressional.
That's what y'all see. That's the okie doke MSL.
They can't. No. In the history of sports in America, the government has never. In the history of sports in America, the government has never legislated in sports to what you're talking about. And whether you hate Trump, or not, they're not going to do a goddamn thing. It's just a political. It's just a political
that's
football.
What you think.
And you're okay to believe that. But I've seen this game for too long to think that's what's going to happen. But if you go back,
I didn't put nothing past Trump, bro. Nothing.
It's all a political game. It's all a political game.
That would have been the better move.
Because Democrats don't pay attention when Republicans do. Let me rephrase that. Democrats don't pay attention when Democrats do dumb stuff, and Republicans don't pay attention when they do dumb stuff. But if you look at both parties, they're both doing the same damn. They're both doing the same damn thing. Exactly and I am not someone, and I'm not a kumbaya guy. I'm looking at it strictly from what they do. Joe Biden was one of the most racist people ever. But all of a sudden, when he decided to run, and this is what I mean when I talk about Clark, the power structure said you cannot criticize Joe Biden. So no black reporters, no BT, no this, that. Nobody criticized Joe Biden. No reporter asked him a question about his racist past. And I'm not even saying they had to or it was relevant. I'm just trying to show when the quote unquote machine goes to work, everybody falls in line. So even when Joe Biden said, well, if you don't vote for me, you're really not black. None of these people, including Al Sharpton on MSNBC, went, because he's getting that check now, none of these people went and accosted or criticized Joe Biden because you could not. Even when he got a grant for $40 million to put crack files in the quote unquote hood, it was only then when people was like, oh my God, what are these people doing? Because, but this is Joe Biden, but they still didn't report it on the news. So what I'm saying is that both parties suck. Both of them.
Now, listen, suck. I agree with you, MSL. Both parties do suck, but you don't find it odd that they're going out of their way to protect CC and CC.
Well, I'll explain. Nancy R. Moore said this in USA Today, but Brokaw can verify that I said this myself.
To me, that's interesting.
Every election, we always use race. It's used more with presidential elections, but it's also used in congressional elections. And as I've said many times, as I'm sure MDT is aware, the Republican Party is very fractured right now as far as the base. They're very fractured because there's one part that feels that the corporate Republicans are full of it, and there's the other part that just goes along with any nonsense the party gives. But it's particularly been fractured. And then all the things that Trump ran on in 2016, he's not doing now when he's in office.
I want to read something to you.
So the base is very fractured. So what they're trying to do for those who, I'm sorry, Brocard, real quick, for those who make money off of, whether in office or out of office, off of this, they're trying to rally the base. So once again, having an Emmett Till situation where they're trying to Emmett Till the entire Black women and lesbian women and so forth of the WNBA, they feel is a good strategy. And I wouldn't be surprised, and the evidence points to that was one of the things that we're doing when she first came into the league. I've said this 1,000 times. If you look at the metrics, if you look at the statistics, if you look at the deals, if you look at everything that transpired, CC not only was not the most popular player, you don't give people everything who haven't done anything or achieved anything. She's not attractive. She doesn't have a great game. She never won a championship, and she's not bringing anything new to the game. So why are they doing all this? Obviously, they did it for two reasons. There was a political one, and there was one for the league. As I've said before, the CBA, they knew the CBA was coming up, and they could not trust Angel Reese. They could not trust her because she was already talking to NECA. She was already talking to Fee. She was already talking to the players union, and they knew
E-Will.
Right, and E-Will, and they knew that she was pro-union. And Angel even said, "I will speak for you guys. I will talk for you guys." So they was like, "Oh man!" And remember, after that 2023 championship. Right, and remember, after that 2023 championship, CC got a lot of people on the right to rally for her, but guess what? No corporations gave her any money. She wasn't paraded on ESPN. All that happened in 2024 when she's about to enter the league. It was Angel Reese that got all the spoils.
He was the second most NIL recipient.
So what I think, and college. The NIL behind Livy Dunn.
Yes.
Livy Dunn was making about $6 million. Angel was making about $3 million. They were both from the same school, LSU. Right. Clark didn't get her money until 2024. Even after they won the championship, nobody talked about Iowa the next year. It was all about LSU and their Fab Five. It was all about LSU. Nobody talked about Iowa. They only talked about Iowa when LSU got knocked out. They're like, oh, snap, Iowa could win this. But guess what? They didn't. But it was already put into the works. Clark had got, under the guise of NIL, Clark got about $3 million or $4 million, but it was all by official WNBA sponsors. That's what Fee was talking about when she said Kathy was mad because she was like, well, we did this for her, we did that for her, we did that for her. What she got to say? But the people didn't realize that. They're thinking, hey, Caitlin Clark had her money. No, she didn't. That was WNBA money through their official WNBA sponsors. So when Dearica Hamby said the league controls who gets the money, and when Diana Taurasi said what she said, and when Fee said what she said, and when Angel said what she said, Angel said they told her, if you want the money from us, you got to give up your manager, give up this, do this, do this, do that. And Angel said no. So once they realized they couldn't control her, they were like, oh my God, this is why she gets all the bad publicity. But the thing is, no one on ESPN, no one on CBS will talk about this. Ryan Clark was one of the few people who actually said this and let the cat out the bag. And that's why everyone is silent. It doesn't say anything. So what I'm saying is, and I've said this over and over again, Caitlin Clark is a pawn. This is why she doesn't speak out about anything. It's not because she's going to lose sponsors. It's because the money is already there. The WNBA is not trying to make money. If they were trying to make money, that $72 billion contract that they got through the NBA, they would have only gotten $2.2 billion from it. They would have got $6 billion.
Well, you gotta understand, ESPN is not a whole company on its own. It's a subsidiary of Disney.
It's Disney, but it's from Disney. But what I'm saying is, though, that the partners with the WNBA are ESPN. They're their partners, and they also have other partners. USA Network, NBC Network.
No, it's not.
CBS Network.
Let me correct. Well, everyone up here, BD said it, and then MSL, which I know y'all probably already know, and you just was spitting it. But to my business heads, the people that's in the panel that are business, it's not a subsidiary. It's an umbrella. Disney is an umbrella company, meaning that this is established underneath the umbrella. It's not a subsidiary.
No, they were purchased. They were purchased.
Yes,
yeah, I'm saying ESPN is owned by Disney. That's what I'm pretty much saying.
Correctional terms, because it's a lot of people that's going to clip us, and we got to sound.
Oh, okay. I get you, bro, Claude. But what I meant to say is ESPN is owned by Disney.
Yes,
just like ABC.
Right. But remember what Ryan Clark said, BD. He said the executives, and he made it sound like the people at the top said to him, why aren't you talking about this? And he said that you can't, he said, one of the executives said, and let me repeat it for those who didn't hear it. He said, I can have malfeasance or corruption. He said, I can have that conversation. He said, I can have conversations about people being fired. He said, I can have conversations about stuff that I don't even want to talk about. I don't remember if he was talking about money or something like that. But the third rail that he said, and I want everyone on the panel and in the audience to hear this. He said the third rail, I'm saying the third rail, but this is essentially what he said. But they told him the thing you cannot talk about is defending Angel Reese. And I want everyone in the audience to ask themselves, why would the top executive at ESPN or one of the top executives at ESPN tell Ryan Clark, you can't talk about Angel Reese? The reason why you can't talk about Angel Reese is because you'll never understand this whole CC situation if you don't go back to 2023 to 2024 or 2022 season, because that's when it started, to 2024. Because what y'all will notice is CC was very ordinary. There was no natural audience for CC. There was no people rallying around CC. You can check her social media. You can check her YouTube. None of that stuff existed. None of it. So
okay, I want to do a fun fact real quick. I know MSL you be,
and I need to jump in too. MSL
okay, hold on
his best senator.
So check it out.
But go ahead, bro, Claude.
There has not been a reliable source or evidence what Ronald Reagan had said, but it was quoted by one of his personnel that Ronald Reagan said in the Oval Office, "We finally got the great white hope.
Jerry Cooney.
Who was he talking about at the time? Well, in 1984, there would be no other person that Ronald Reagan in the Oval Office would have been talking about but the great Larry Bird. It is known as factual, and it is documented that Ronald Reagan did honor Bird and the Boston Celtics at the White House after their 1984 NBA championship. He praised the entire team and mentioned Bird's 20 points in Game 7. But the official script contains no great white hope statement have been raised and made in the public eye. But
you say they scrubbed it?
But the phrases was used and was reported to sports writers, fans, commentaries, and described as the racial symbolism that the president of the United States had put in place upon Larry Bird's head in the 1980s. The true controversy of most people remember that occurred in 1984, but it was also said in the Oval Office in 87, but it was awful. Let me finish.
Sure.
Let me finish. It was also regurgitated in 1987. Dennis Rodman suggested Bird received excessive attention because he was a white man, and Dennis Rodman was penalized by the league itself. Isaiah Thomas. I
was just about to say that.
Isaiah Thomas then said that if Bird were black, he would be regarded as just another guy. Thomas later characterized the remark as a joke and public apology because he was also suspended privately by the NBA. Bird rejected the racial framing and accepted Thomas' apology. He also said that Isaiah Thomas said nothing wrong because of the black disparity in this country. This is Larry Bird. The black disparity of this country, white people will never admit or bring themselves to reality of. But it does exist that the black people in this league are very, very mistreated amongst whites. Larry Bird quote, historical
and the stuff that Larry Bird has said, and this is not a knock against Caitlin, I'm speaking very clinically. The stuff that Larry Bird has said, Caitlin Clark hasn't come close to saying. As a matter of fact, when they tried to run the racial thing with him and Magic, he came out clearly and said, not only am I not a racist, I'm not a racist, but he said, me and Magic are friends, and he invited Magic to his house, and it wasn't coming from the NBA to let everyone know because he was very uncomfortable with that. So, but I'm glad you brought up the thing with Reagan, because we seem to think that politics and sports don't intersect. They do. When they can be used and when they can be applicable. I think this whole thing with Clark is purely political. Like I said, it had to do with the league and the CBA and what the league wanted, and it also had to do with the political effect that it can have. And they've used the politics to say this poor white woman in distress. She's not even a Republican, and she may not even be straight, but they don't care because she's being used. Like I told you guys.
Andy, she does not stay out of politics. She said her vote is for Kamilla. What's her name? Kamilla
Harris.
Kamilla Harris.
Kamala Harris. I'm saying Kamilla.
Andy, you
right. Kamala Harris.
Facts. You're wrong again. See, that's what I'm saying, Andy. You gotta shoot right when you shoot at me. Because I'm a literary and a documental person. I go
not for nothing. How many years? I don't know how old the rest of y'all are. I know me and Bro Claude is like in the same generation. How many years have we heard the term Great White Hope? We heard it with Larry Bird. I remember Jerry Cooney when he fought Larry Holmes. He was the Great White Hope. When Rebecca Lobo first won that national championship in Connecticut, and they went undefeated. She was the Great White Hope. Like how many times flag supposed to be the Great White Hope? Like how many Great White Hopes we gonna have before they turn into Moby Dick and I turn into Ahab? Like,
but here's the difference with CC. But here's the difference with CC though, because of social media, they figured out that they can control people's moods, attitudes, and what they think through social media. And a lot of times what we think is news is actually not news. It's something paid for by other people. As I've said to y'all 1,000 times, all of these sites that y'all see that are pro CC sites, most of them, they're paid.
Allegedly.
They're paid to. No, there's no. I know
allegedly.
People.
You've got no evidence.
MDP, hear me out. MDP. I know YouTube
I've heard
presenters.
You say that many times.
I know YouTube presenters who said that they've been offered money to badmouth Angel Reese. And
you've seen him, I've seen him. There's not a lot of talent out there. If they are being paid, they're not getting.
But MDT, listen to what I'm saying, MDT. It's the same thing that happens in politics. I've told you guys this before, or even foreign countries, or even companies. If you want to get a message out, you pay presenters on YouTube or on Instagram, and they don't, and it looks like it's real, but it's not. They're being paid. But the reason why we know they're being paid is because sometimes the campaign comes out that, hey, that I'm being paid to do. I've heard people say they're being paid to badmouth Angel Reese and to promote Caitlin Clark. That essentially backs up what Ryan Clark said.
Let me interject. MSL Ryan Clark.
Hold up, before you do that, MDT, just to play devil's advocate, you don't think the opposite is true?
That what?
As well? You don't think it works both ways, or you just think it's strictly a one-way street, that people are being played to badmouth Angel Reese and the prop up CC, but it's not the opposite.
I need to see
true.
Evidence beyond somebody saying it's true and trying to speak it into existence. I've seen these channels. Not a lot of talent. If they're getting paid, some people aren't getting their money's worth. Furthermore, I'm looking for sponsors, and I don't see very many people with them.
But that's exactly what I'm. That's why they're being paid directly. They're being paid by PR. They're being paid by PR companies and marketing companies. That's how.
We're not getting paid. We're not getting paid for shit.
That's how it works.
There it is. There's my point right there. MSL. Let me get to
they
the
don't
Ryan
have
Clark.
ads.
Let
they
me
don't
get
have
to the
ads
Ryan Clark
because they're being paid. They're being paid by social media companies, a social media marketplace. They're being paid by PR companies.
Listen, we know you missed your calling of being a senator, but you got to let other people talk, please. Thank you.
Yes.
Ryan Clark has credibility.
You had cut me off when I first started. What are you talking about?
He's got credibility problems.
You had cut me off and I had no problem with you cut me off. Because I said, hey, if you want to make it interactive, you can make it interactive. But you're trying to say something that's not true. Just because you're not aware of something, that doesn't mean it's not true. No, I can say with 100% fact. 100% fact. And so anyone can fact check this. 100% fact that many of these people are being paid directly. That's how it works. They're being paid directly.
Can I talk, please?
So if you can refute it, refute me.
Okay, go ahead. MSL, let MDT talk. Go ahead.
Thank you very much. Ryan Clark has credibility problems. Aside and independent of what he said about Angel Reese, a lot of credibility issues with that guy. With taking on some reporter or some insider in the NFL and telling him, "Hey, you have no credibility. You're just a guy that talks about sports. You never played the game." From trying to say that RG3 is not a real black guy in so many terms, when in fact Ryan Clark himself has a baby mama who's a Caucasian woman. These are sort of the reasons why this guy was let go, because of that stuff. And that's independent of all the Angel Reese things. Mm-hmm. So also, to piggyback off one of your earlier points, and I wanted to ask you this because I've mentioned this before to you. So you make the point about the Clark being installed to be a pawn, which I
another
agree
great white hope, like they said. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So, and at the time, and I'm sure you're still making this point that it's Nike, it's Gatorade, it's Wilson, it's State Farm. Where do the networks come into that? And are you moving your argument that way because they're the ones paying the most freight now?
Mm-hmm. No, what I'm saying is that this is whether, if you understand how power works, whether you're a top media company or a top political person or a top industrialist, they all sit at the same table in these meetings. And when they plan stuff and when they have to do stuff, there are different councils, different meetings, different things. There's like 100 of these things a year that they go to. So it's not hard if you're trying to integrate, if you're trying to integrate something, for the head of ESPN to be at one of these meetings, for the head of Disney to be at one of these meetings, for XX politician on XX committee in the Senate is on this meeting. So what happens is it's integrated. It's always integrated. When FTC, the crypto company, was involved in all that money laundering for the Democrats, nobody would have ever believed that a lot of these things that they were pushing, stuff that I'm sure you've spoken about, that they were pushing, it was being done through FTC, a crypto company. And Brokaw just talked about Ronald Reagan trying to use Larry Bird as political football. It's happened before. So to answer your question, as I said, Clark is a pawn. The people who are involved, it doesn't really matter. This is like throwaway money. It doesn't really matter. The thing is controlling the message and controlling the narrative. Now, the WNBA owners and the NBA owners, yes, they have skin in the game, and they didn't want these players to go from $200,000 salaries to $2 to $3 million salaries. Because if you look at what they're being paid, most sports leagues, the players are the talent. They're one of the few industries where the actual human beings are also the product. They're both. So because of that, they generally get between 47 to 53% of the gross revenue right off the bat. The women were essentially getting about 6 to 7% gross revenue, and a lot of people would argue that the WNBA was a tax write-off for NBA owners, even though not all NBA owners, not all WNBA teams are owned by NBA owners. So you got two arguments now. You have the political one that you're trying to put across with this white woman. And then you also have the financial one to the WNBA and the WNBA owners that are involved. So here you got a situation where the league was creeping up in popularity. Women's sports on a whole have been increasing about 10% every year, regardless of whether or not Caitlin or Angel, whoever else was going to come in. It was still going to increase. So these guys are sitting around saying, hey, are we going to pay these people $3 million a year, $2 million a year? What are we going to do? So here you got, so the owners, they had that to do. And the political part has worked great. Look at all these, and I know Brokaw and Big Dog can attest to this. Look at all these crazy white men that sit around on social media and bash this girl who's got nothing to do with anything in their lives. The whole, they call Angel a victim, or they say black people are victims, but Clark is the biggest victim in this entire thing, because Angel Reese waved her finger to John Cena, something that Clark had done before to HVL. Mm-hmm. She did the choke signal to Raven with South Carolina, and nobody said a word. Nobody cared. Hold on for a sec. Angel Reese does it, then all of a sudden it's a problem. But the reason why I'm bringing it up is because the victimization of the white woman, yes, the card that they're playing now, that started in college, and they're still playing that card to this day. But the reality is not the perception, because it's Clark that's running around slapping people all over the court. It's Clark that's running around cursing out refs. It's Clark that's running around flopping all over the place like a fish. But the political message is the complete opposite. And then when you see the power structure work, you know exactly what's going on. What you see is not what you hear on television. And that's what
I do got a question for the panel, but I need y'all to go in order, okay? Just real quick, and this is a little off topic, but I have to ask this. Which one of these women gets the first $10 million contract?
No,
Caitlin Clark or Angel
that's
Reese?
not.
Go, Bro
That's not
Claw.
part of this discussion.
Now, I just want to know because
But since you
we
brought,
are talking about money.
But BD, since you brought that up, I want to ask you this question. I have a more relevant question than what you just said. Angel, since you brought up Angel Reese's name, she got a Barbie doll, right? She got a flipping Barbie doll.
Sold out Barbie doll.
Right. Now, despite the fact,
and I got two
we all
of them.
see it operate, that no one in right-wing media would even act like it existed. And when they did act like they existed, all they tried to do was ridicule it, bash it, this, that, to almost make it seem like it didn't happen. Then she had Barbie Day in Atlanta, which I was there, so I can attest to this.
I was there too, sir.
Like,
ain't
one
none
of the
of
most
y'all come look for me. So F all of y'all.
We'll talk about that in a minute. We'll talk about that in a minute, BT. An incredible experience. There's no other player, and I got people on the panel that were there and in the audience. There's no other player in the WNBA that could have had that experience, that Barbie night. Nobody. Not Caitlin Clark, not Sophie, not Asia, not Fee, nobody. It was an incredible experience. But then you got a situation where this person can have 6 million subscribers on Instagram alone. She can have a show on YouTube that has 5 times more subscribers than Aaliyah Boston and Candace Parker's show, and her views go anywhere from 10 to 20 times more on a regular basis. But then for 3 years she's been in this league, she has not been voted an all-star starter, but we're supposed to believe she's got a flipping Barbie doll. Guess what? Jessica Shepard ain't getting a Barbie doll. Aaliyah Boston's not getting a Barbie doll. Caitlin Clark is not getting a Barbie doll. None of these, Natasha Howard's not getting a Barbie doll. Gabby Williams is not getting a Barbie doll. They may get a Barbie.
It's only a matter of time before Barbie comes out with a Caitlin Clark.
They may get a Barbie doll in the. They may get a Barbie doll in the future because of what just happened. They may get one in the future, but nobody was thinking about giving these people a flipping Barbie doll. But you want me to believe that Angel Reese was not voted a starter, and what they tell us is, oh, well, her fans, they just are interested, but they don't, oh, I'm not buying that, because when they had the FIBA vote, we know what happened, right? Angel Reese got 4 million votes, Paige Becker's got 2 million votes, and Caitlin Clark got 1 million votes. You know what they did, MDT? They shut it down. Not only did they shut it down,
you gotta understand this too. MSL, you do got a lot. You got millions of people that follow Angel Reese that don't care nothing about her playing basketball.
Which is a more reasonable explanation.
No, I don't believe. No, I don't believe that. You know why? I don't believe that. No, PD, I don't believe that. So the reason I don't believe that is because everyone, that doll, first of all, that doll had a uniform on it. All of those people who had those dolls, they watched the games. Like, they want us to believe that. They want us to believe that.
There's a lot of people that follow Angel Reese that could care less about her basketball.
Bro, Claude.
Hold on a second.
Sorry. PD, the reason why we like Angel Reese is because of basketball. That's what all got us interested in Angel Reese.
We watch basketball, MSL. We, the real fans, quote unquote, we watch basketball.
You're forgetting about the Angel Reese phenomenon. She was a phenomenon. She had millions of views in YouTube before that championship game. BD.
MSL. We're all due.
Hold on a second. Hold on a second, guys. Hold on. Stay right there in the back. I got to take control. We cannot talk over each other. The people can't hear you when you talk over each other. When they clip the show, I want them to clip the show and be an organized truth. I'm going to bring everybody back up, but I want everyone to understand that everybody can't hear you. Hey, Mama June, they can't hear you. And I'm getting text messages about everyone has to go on their part. Okay? MSL, you have to give people an opportunity. I got a text message I can show you. You have to give other people opportunity to speak. And the other thing is that at this point right now, where we're at, everyone knows that Angel Reese had more votes. It didn't matter where you are. And BD, you know that when it's a black situation, we all, just like Black Panther, there were people who supported Black Panther and did not like Marvel movies. My sister is one. She didn't watch superheroes and she don't like it, but she went to go and buy a ticket so it can register under the historic Black Panthers name. Just because they're not basketball watchers don't mean that they didn't support or put in a vote. We have done that in our historical column forever. I am in the Nation of Islam, but Minister Louis Farrakhan told us to vote for Barack Obama, and we don't vote in the nation. He's the first president to ever get voted for and be able to be recognized in the nation for a vote. Okay? That don't mean that the people didn't vote for it because they're basketball. The people, outside people, you think Lotto, who's a rapper, didn't, she don't watch basketball. She says she don't. Lotto voted for her because why? The information was out there. People who support people vote. No matter if they like it or not. They seen, this is my opinion. That don't mean that I have to be right. I could be wrong. My opinion, MDT, BD, MSL, my opinion, when the site got taken down, they said it had a glitch format in it. At the time that they took it down, it was said by those who were able, because I'm on the inside, Angel Reese was again trending like she did last year. She was trending up to be the top vote again. So you could take it or leave it alone. It is what it is. And like we say, we don't go with the conspiracy. We just going with facts. Okay, we just going facts of the matter. We coming back to the panel. Please give each other a chance. I bring my co-host up first. Co-host, could you please give them an opportunity because this is mine and your show. They need an opportunity to have their voice to be there.
Absolutely.
And I don't want them to feel like they're being transgressed.
No, not at all. Not at all. No, I just didn't because, you know, you and I, Bro Clark, can talk about a lot of things besides sports. And there are a lot of things that we talk about that unless you have the time to unwrap it, some people are just not going to believe it or want to believe it because it doesn't sound right. But this whole argument that Angel Reese has fans that don't care about basketball, that's what the power structure puts out as an excuse to so they don't ask. So they don't have to answer the uncomfortable question. Well, why does she have all these influencers and this girl doesn't? Because this is why she makes so much money off court, because they know these fans will do whatever she wants, not because they're stupid, but because they believe in her. They feel in her. They have an experience with her. That goes for her basketball. And I think it's her basketball first. Like this whole thing about fashion and all, that's just stuff that people say, because there are a lot of women and a lot of men who believe in Angel Reese. They believe in her, but nobody who doesn't understand it will want to believe it, because with Clark, right? Okay, Bob Jones said there were 18.9 million people who watch that game in 2024, right? This is after 2023. But what I say to all of you guys is, if Caitlin Clark was so popular, why didn't any advertisers give her any money after the 2023 championship?
Hold on.
But Clark is not pretty.
Hold on a second.
She's not marketable. She's not. The only thing they're marketing is that she's white. That's it.
Hold on a second. Mr. 6688, you know I'm in the game, right? it's a statement that was said by Lotto that Angel Reese got her interested in basketball. Not that she's of course over the last 2 years, two and a half, almost 3 years, she has been engaged in basketball, but she's a rapper. My son shot her. You got to think about it. MSL is on here. My son shot Lotto on the rap game. My son did all the seasons on the rap game. He was the cinematographer and a director on that. So I'm not, remember Mr. 668888, I'm not going to give you information that I don't know. That's why we personal friends with Fly J. Am I lying, MSL?
No, and Brokaw, let me say this real quick so they can speak. It's carpetbagging revisited. It's like rock and roll, right? If you look up in Google right now, who changed or bought women's basketball, right? It will say Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. That's what it will say. It will say Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. It will say both of them. Even right now with YouTube taking down videos that are critical of Caitlin Clark and keeping all of these negative videos of Angel Reese because YouTube is owned by Google. Even now, right? But the reason why I say carpetbagging and rock and roll, because in 2024, there was a distinct change. It went from Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark to just Caitlin Clark when she came into the WNBA. And most of these guys that responded to Caitlin Clark coming into the WNBA, they never watched the WNBA before or watched women's basketball before. So they believed everything they heard when they heard Caitlin Clark. Some of them because they were racist, some of them because they were bandwagoners, some of them because they were lonely, some of them because they're looking for the next greatest fix or the next thing, and some of them were just casuals who responded to the marketing saturation. But up until that point, it was always Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, or Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, and all the right-wing guys, including Pat, the guy on ESPN. They're saying, hey, why you keep saying these two? Why it became a concentration to make it just about Caitlin Clark. This is another Vanilla Ice situation. This is another Elvis situation. This is another Jerry Cooney situation where they're taking something that a black person had done or a black person was very popular in, or a black person opened the door, and then they tried to put it on a white person. Just look at all the things that Angel Reese has done. She podcasting, they killed her for podcasting. Now everybody has a podcast. They killed her for the fashion, and now everybody wants to talk about.
He was the first to do it.
About that going to the Met Gala and things like that. She was a leader in the NIL. Caitlin Clark was not. So riddle me this, for all you guys that say Caitlin Clark is so big, why wasn't she on the forefront of the NIL? They've done documentaries on Angel Reese and Livy Dunn and even Fly J about their NIL, not Caitlin Clark. But this is the history that nobody wants to talk about. They vanished and whitewashed everything before 2024. So this is why I bring up all the stuff that took place in 2024, because you won't understand anything I'm talking about unless you're familiar with 2022 to 2024, because Caitlin Clark was not a marketing machine. This was a choice by the WNBA. And let's even say she was. Well, why are they promoting Angel Reese? Don't tell me because she's black, because the #1 endorser in tennis is, guess who? Coco Gauff. And there are 2 white girls in front of her, Swiatek and Sabalenka. So even though she's the 3rd-ranked player with only 2 majors, Swiatek has 6, Sabalenka has 4 majors, Coco has 2. She still makes $33 million a year in endorsements, if you believe Forbes. In soccer, which probably has a similar makeup, well, not really, but there's like a half and half black girls, white girls. Trinity Rodman is the #1.
Trinity Rodman is #1 soccer player.
Simone Biles made the most money in gymnastics. So there's a whole bunch of white girls in gymnastics. So the argument that Caitlin Clark is there because she's white doesn't wash.
The gymnastics thing is a little different when you talk about Simone Biles. Simone Biles is the GOAT. She's so far above everybody else that you have no choice but to push her. So
yeah, but Gabby Douglas before her still did very well, and she wasn't.
Yeah, but Gabby Douglas is nothing like Simone Biles. You can't.
I'm not talking about their achievements. I'm talking about their income, because some people like to use the argument that because Angel is black, which makes no sense because look at all the money she makes, but because she's black, they chose Caitlin Clark, but that doesn't wash because whether it's male or females, black endorsers in America are the top endorsers. Contrary to what people like to think, they're the top endorsers.
What you're saying is true, but what I'm saying is two things could be true at the same time. Just like white privilege is a thing, pretty privilege is also a thing. You know you can't push Caitlin Clark like that. You can't have Caitlin Clark on somebody's Met Gala. You can't have Caitlin Clark in somebody's rap video. Like, what are you doing? That would look crazy because she looked crazy. Angel Reese.
But I'm glad you brought that up, though. But I'm glad you brought that up, BG.
MSL, you done talked for 10 minutes straight. Let me talk, please.
MSL rapid fire right
It's easy to push Angel Reese on the Met Gala. It's easy to have Angel Reese walk in the runway in Victoria's Secret. It's easy to put Angel Reese on the cereal box of Reese's Pieces because she's pretty. She's aesthetically pleasing to look at. You think these white people don't know that?
Of course they do. They lying when they call her ugly. They know she's good, and they know Caitlin looks like Jim Carrey. They know that.
That's exactly why they got her doing these things, because she fits the mold to do these things.
No.
It's very simple. She's tall, she's beautiful, and she could get away with a whole bunch of other stuff.
But can I just say one thing, though, BD? But BD, can I just say one thing? But BD, can I just say one thing? It's because of what you just said, or one of the reasons. One, they have to promote Clark like the GOAT, which they did before she played her first game, because there's nothing else they can go off. You're right. She's not pretty. She doesn't have a championship. She has a lame personality. She has a lame personality on the court. And she hasn't done anything new. Her game is pretty simple. So I agree with you with that. On the flip side, they also can't say Angel Reese is good at basketball because of what you just said, because then people would say, well, wait a minute, and she's beautiful, got a great personality, she's a champion, and she can play. Why are we promoting this girl? You just answered your question on one of the reasons why they're promoting Clark, because if they did promote Angel, because that was my question, right? Why don't they just promote both of them? They can't, because like I said, they didn't trust Angel because Angel was pro CPA, pro player, pro this, and Angel also has a mind of her own. Brokaw would tell you this. Angel is not a shrinking violet. She controls everything she's involved in. She wants to know everything she's involved in. And the WNBA didn't want to deal with that. You see how they disrespect their players. They treat their players. They wasn't going to deal with. But guess what? Clark was easy to deal with for all the reasons you just said. Because she wasn't making any money in college, she was a limp lamb for them. You're 100% right, BD. And she took the deal that all these other women refused.
Sophie Cunningham has a sneaker deal. Sophie Cunningham is a bench player. You know why Sophie Cunningham has a sneaker deal? She's a bench player, not just because she got white privilege, because she got pretty privilege too. They go hand in hand. You can't separate the two. You understand what I'm saying? And as long as Angel Reese got pretty privilege, she's going to be able to do whatever the fuck she want to do, however the fuck she want to do it. And ain't nobody going to be able to stop that.
So you're admitting that Caitlin Clark is not marketable. So you're admitting that.
I've been said that.
You said she wasn't.
You're not putting Caitlin Clark on nobody's cereal box unless it's Wheaties. And I don't know too many black motherfuckers eating Wheaties like that.
While she's sweating, right?
But here's the thing, though. It's not like they're not trying to market Caitlin Clark. I see State Farm commercials with Caitlin Clark. I see Gatorade commercials.
All through the WNBA. She has not gotten one of those deals by herself.
Okay,
all
where
through
she
the
got the
WNBA.
deal from wasn't my issue.
That's
All
not
I'm
the
saying
issue.
is I go by what I see. On TV, she's on Gatorade commercials. She's on State Farm commercials. She has Nike commercials. She was on a Geico commercial. Like,
that was
it's not
Daisy.
like they're not trying to push her, even though we all know Caitlin Clark is not aesthetically pleasing to look at.
Great
But
White,
that's
okay,
not
so Great White
stopping
Hope,
them
like
from
you just said.
pushing her because she got the name recognition and she's white.
DiJonai Carrington is a college graduate.
So why isn't DiJonai Carrington then getting a bunch of ads then?
Stop. Loose ball. Do not call DiJonai Carrington.
She's smarter than
Not
Sophie.
Smart. No, Sophie Cunningham also is smart.
Yep.
These
Sophie's
are college.
smart.
These are college graduates.
Carrington's from Stanford.
Listen.
Yeah, that's true. He's right.
Yeah, these women aren't dumb. None of these women are dumb.
Smart graduates.
They're actually smarter than the men.
Better than the NBA. They had to be 22 years old, a graduate, before they even got into the W, and it's still that way, even per CBA. They have not agreed on letting any college. So after this CBA, they have to have another CBA to let any student out before it's time. So there's not one, I don't believe or think it's one ignorant WNBA player in the league. They are all graduates, all of them.
Bro, Claude, can I ask you a question? By BD's assessment, why isn't Rakia, DiJonai, Lexi Brown, and all of these Deja, Kelly, the one y'all all love? Why aren't all also DiJonai won a championship at Baylor? Why aren't all these women making tens of millions of dollars in revenue like the way Angel Reese did if it's just about beauty?
Because it ain't just about beauty. All the women you just named talent does not match to an Angel Reese. Not near one of them.
Then how do you
not even
Sophie?
close. You can't even compare near none of them talent wise to Angel Reese.
Fair enough. And Sophie's like an E-rate angel. And I don't say that, and I don't say that as a diss. I just say it as even Sophie admitted on that show she does that she wished she had the motion or the opportunities as Angel Reese. So that's not saying that. And the thing is,
she said
the thing is, a lot of people on the right, and I'm not saying this about you, MDT. A lot of people on the right, they don't talk a lot of positives when it comes to Angel. So when we have it, so BD can sit here and probably tell you everything I can do. He can tell you 30 things that Angel's affiliated with, but the people on the right, they don't want to hear it. They don't want to believe it. Like BD was at Barbie night. I was at Barbie night.
Was.
And even though they got killed, MDT, even though they got killed, BD, we gonna talk about me and you.
Came to look for me.
But
none of y'all.
But I didn't see anyone on Barbie night either, BD. So me and you was the same. But we'll talk about that in a minute. Even though they got killed, MDT, it was a fabulous experience. The whole setup, man.
Everybody
setup.
Was wearing pink. Everybody. I seen grown men carrying Barbie dolls. Grown men, my age, carrying Barbie dolls. Proudly,
let me
too.
jump in, guys.
Proudly. It was wonderful. It was a beautiful.
People were dancing. They were dancing. They were singing before they had the whole arena, all the scoreboards and all the electronic equipment had some semblance of pink on it. They had pink towels on the lower 2/3, which we've seen people do that before. People are coming from all over the country. MDT. I came from New York. BD came from New York. There are people who came from Louisiana, people who came from Chicago, from all over the country.
I was 35 minutes away. I took a lift there. And I had me a couple of Boilermakers. I had 2 Barbie dolls. And man,
we got the Barbie doll. We got the Barbie dolls too. I had Angel sign 2 of them, just so you know. I had them sign it in College Park, right, bro? Claude, at the other game, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so but this is not but the Angel Reese effect is not allowed to be discussed on ESPN or on Fox or on CBS. It's only the Caitlin Clark effect that's allowed to be discussed. So when we come and say this, They don't care. Like, but guess what? But the difference is it's not going to stop Angel's motion. You see, the difference is Angel doesn't need the WNBA. She doesn't need NBC. She doesn't need CBS. She doesn't need any of these people. She's still going to make money and be loved by fans. Caitlin Clark needs the machine. They have to constantly push the machine. All that stuff, MDT, and I'm gonna let you say something in a minute about Congress. Sure? That was also to bring up. That was also to get people interested in her again and to get them watching again. The casuals. Angel doesn't need that. They don't have to advertise Angel. They don't have to talk about Angel. People follow her in sports, out of sports, and they will support her regardless. And they won't talk about Barbie night, but no other player in the WNBA could have had that Barbie night. None. And I'm including Caitlin Clark because she does not have the love and appreciation for her fans the way she does.
Land your plane. You done?
I'm done.
Okay. Go ahead. Go ahead, MDT.
Well, I had a question for MSL, so maybe I won't ask it, but I'll just put it out there anyway, and then you can maybe answer later. MSL, is Sophie the next victim? That was the question I was going to ask. Because that's been playing all over. I've heard people co-opting
the political thing. Could be.
For sure. Yeah, it could be. Sure. So I've seen that.
She's good for that.
Over. And,
Megan Kelly talked about her, right? Kelly talked about her, right?
I've seen it on. There's only one guy up there that was really honest about it. It's like, man, my kids play, but I don't want to be talking about this, And now I know how the one token liberal on there that's on there to get a paycheck that's on one of their shows how she feels because he didn't want to talk about it. Look, it was a refreshing type of a statement that he made.
Nobody wants to have a discussion about that, but the reality is. And that's a discussion for another day, but I'm just going to let you know how I feel about it. If you allow men and women's sports, you will no longer have women's sports. So Sophie is right in that context, but they're trying to make it political because she brought it up in February.
I already made my video. I agree.
Yes.
Yes, she's absolutely right. The day you let a man play a woman's sport, you might as well just kill the sport.
Right, it won't be women's sports anymore.
The first time you see a Joanna man in the WNBA is the day I stopped watching the WNBA.
Right. No, you're right. So all those people who say we don't have them yet, that's because once you get the first one, it's over. You can't get the first one.
MSL, what I was going to say, because your last filibuster that you were into, I felt like you were talking to me, but I'm not conservative. I want to put that out.
No, I wouldn't say you were.
It's not my politics.
No, I wouldn't say you were. No, I wouldn't say you were. But I appreciate you. No, I appreciate you saying that, but I wasn't saying you were.
But you kept saying MDT after like every statement. So
because
maybe you were talking to me like, wait, hey, this is it. Yeah, I hear you. But that's I'm not your audience with that. I'm not a conservative at all, man. I understand it as well as you do. For sure. So, and I understand why they want to push a Sophie, why they want to even want to push a Paige to the degree that they do with the 36 games on national television. Obviously, Clark and her team with the 44 because of who they're trying to sell those games to, which to me, that's what today was about with what we saw in that game is they know that they need her for the ratings on Tuesday. And if she's not there, they might lose half their audience and they don't want that.
But here's the retort that I always have. But if that was the case, then why did Serena Williams? Why did Serena Williams and Coco Gauff is a good player. She's not a fabulous player. She doesn't even have a great personality. She's a nice kid, but she has the right people behind her because she's with Roger Federer. She's with Roger Federer's management. And they pushed her from when she was 15, 16 years old. So she already had money before she played her first match. But what I'm saying is this whole conservative thing, that's a choice. Because just like when Michael Jordan said conservatives buy sneakers too, well, Democrats buy sneakers too. So you really shouldn't pitch to any particular audience, which is why I think it's mostly political. Because all you got to do is put the talent out there and let people make their choice and make their decision. Them promoting Clark the way they do, especially with all the egregious things that they do, right? Because when Clark first came in the league as a rookie, right, that push off that she does to get separation or to keep someone at bay, they were calling that foul. And then all of a sudden they stopped calling that foul. Now they have the rule change thing, which a lot of people think it affects her, and her free throws have distinctly
listen, I understand that a lot of folks are not Caitlin Clark fans, especially on this side of the world. We have a lot of people that just despise Caitlin Clark for whatever reason. But I will say this: without a Caitlin Clark and without an Angel Reese, we wouldn't have this real fans versus casual fans thing. At least we have fans now that are actually watching the W, and that's what I care about. You have millions of more people watching the W now because of these two women that I could say before 19 came around. In 2020, we wouldn't have even been having this conversation. You know why? Because wasn't nobody fucking watching the W like that. At least now I could say I got millions of people watching the W, people who were never interested in women's sports, never interested in women's basketball, now want to watch women's basketball because of these two women. And I'm grateful for that because I have a daughter here at home, y'all. And my daughter watches the WNBA. I got her a Barbie doll, right? I was trying to get her to keep it in the box, but she wouldn't she wasn't trying to keep it in the box. She wanted to play with the angel. She wanted to comb her hair. She wanted to dye the hair pink. I was gonna let her dye the hair pink, but then I was like, she might destroy the doll. I might not be able to get another one, so I ain't let her dye the hair. But she playing in the hair, making braids, and I'm just sitting here like, wow, Angel Reese got my daughter playing with Barbie dolls, braiding hair. Like, who could ask for anything more? You know what I'm saying? Like,
no, I agree. And just so you know, BD, and see, you're so well integrated into the sport that a lot of the bigger issues, you don't even care about that. You don't even worry about that because you're just a fan of the sport. But I think people like Bro Claude, when they got on the air, and people like me, what we also realize is that everything you said is true. And I agree. I can have your argument 99,000 times. But the flip side of it is, which we have to deal with sometimes, is that the WNBA's promotion is to exclude and downgrade Angel Reese to the point where you have people on the internet who constantly make fun of her. And she's the only player who they make these blooper videos for, which lets you know it's being paid for. It's not a coincidence, because nobody sits around and says, I'm going to make someone goes 10 for 15 or 8 for 12 or 8 for 13, and then you make 5 videos of the 5 misses. You make a loop in the 5 minutes, within 5 minutes of the game being over. That's people who are doing that on purpose, whether they're making money from doing it or whether they're being paid to do it, or both. There's a concerted effort, and it's really sad, right? Because you can't read a comment section without people saying, and the whole thing about calling her a monkey and this, it's just too much. But they don't do this for anyone else. They may do this for DiJonai on occasion. They're probably doing it for her now. They may have done this to AT for a bit, but Angel's been receiving this from 2023, from when she won the championship. And the WNBA does not, and they support it. And the reason why I say that is the guy that got taken out of Indiana the other day, those 4 guys, what was their statement? Oh, they didn't do anything wrong. They left on their own. Well, the incidences that they had in 2024, right? There were 7 different players plus Cheryl Reeves. And they all said that nasty things were said to them in Indiana. So what happens? They claim that Angel is a liar and a racist because they say that nothing was found. But how could 7 different players complain about the same thing, including Cheryl Reeves, and it not be true? Obviously, the WNBA in Indiana did not want to deal with that. They're not going to deal with that because they know it points to Caitlin's audience, and they don't want anything to put a blemish on Caitlin's audience. So they will not deal with racism against Black players or Angel Reese, but they'll always talk about alleged racism against Caitlin Clark, as we've seen the last several months. And yeah, Angel's rich, she's famous, she's got a great life, all this other stuff. We're not saying it's not, but at the same time, there's still a lot of vitriol, and the WNBA does not promote her. If the WNBA promoted their league like Unrivaled, we wouldn't be on here talking about this. Right or wrong, Bro Claude? if they promoted their league like Unrivaled?
Well, here's the thing about the W promoting their league. They won't promote their best player.
No, they won't.
Bro, you muted, bro, Claude.
They're so off script. The WNBA is so off script. And to think that me and BD, we had this conversation before MSL. They're so off script that they're 3 years behind now in trying to catch up to do a simple assignment that Unrivaled has done. Legitimately and diligently, they're behind on just taking care of the business in a fashion MDT, a fashion of just precision, being precise and exactly doing what needs to be done for the whole body. What has happened is they keyed in on the one. They bought in on the one, whereas Unrivaled sells itself off of a total package, off of a total branding, off of all the superstars that is going to be playing and attending in that league. So Unrivaled, although there were people who were trying to sanction Unrivaled, although people were saying that they was not going to watch Unrivaled, they end up watching Unrivaled anyway. But not only that, it's because of the polished product, the polished way of things that they went about having the league to be able to bud up. At least for the next 4 years, they got to deal with TNT. And how they didn't waver from highlighting all of the product. And this is what Kathy Engelberg right now is chasing down. Right now, Kathy Engelberg is chasing down what they put out there because they all in on Caitlin Clark. Now you start to see this season a lot of more Angel Reese picks, a lot of more Angel Reese, Asia Wilson commercials, a lot more of Nafisha Collier being in place. Nafisha Collier ain't played since the playoffs last time, but she's on several things that the WNBA is producing and doing. That's because they're behind on putting their product out, that people now have become fans of Olivia Miles, have become fans of Paige Beckers, even though they have their audience coming from college. And AZ Fudd, people like her, the darling. You understand? People are watching because now they're finding the player that they like on these teams. And it is because of a confrontation between two distant crowds, an Angel Reese crowd and a Caitlin Clark crowd that was already light years ahead of the Angel Reese fan base, because us as fans, we were still trying to figure out how the hell we're going to support this girl. Me, myself, speaking for myself, I only was able to come on to the different podcasts like I'll give Showtime his credit because that's the truth. I'll give Quita her credit. That's the truth. I'll give Sky Central, my boy Sway. That's the truth. You understand? I also ultimately have to give the love to KSAP because I was able to come on his panel and not just be a listener. On all three of those shows, I was a listener. But KSAP, I was invited to come up. And I was trying to figure out, how can I represent or say what I need to say, because ADP was the first woman to come up. You got what I'm saying? And we were trying to figure out, guys, if you don't know the history of Simply Ball Dropping, here you go. We were trying to figure out how to have a voice 2 years ago, to have ourselves be able to take care of Angel and be out here unanimously, because it was only 4 or 5 channels that was doing Angel Reese type of material, 4 or 5. Then you got the other ones that I ain't gonna name, because of course, I don't want to, the thing is that we got split factions in the Angel Reese clan, just like we got split factions in the Caitlin Clark fandom. It's split factions. I had to learn that. It's more people like MDT. It's a lot of other. I got a Fever fan that's gonna be coming up next week. You got what I'm saying? They don't want to be put in as a Caitlin Clark fan, because they said they was there when Kelsey Mitchell got drafted. They was there before Kelsey Mitchell got drafted. They was there when what's her name is still on the wall in Indianapolis.
Tamika Catchings, you mean?
Tamika Catchings. So when Tamika Catchings got drafted, it's some Fever fans that were there already. So no, they don't drink the Kool-Aid of the Angel Reese and the Caitlin Clark drama.
So those are real fans.
Those are the real fans. So those people, like myself, I had to try to find my voice. I had to find my opportunity to give my thoughts. So me and Brooklyn in particular were the first two to come off of KSAP's dispatch. Then Sister Keisha got her up and ready to go. And me and Sister Keisha got monetized so quick. It was so quick. The way we got monetized, it was like, oh, wow. Whoa, what's going on? Wait a minute. We got monetized, and I appreciate. That's why my base that's here that watch this, the Steady Serv'N Sports ENT, they know where I come from. They know how unpolished I was. They know exactly my growth in what I'm doing, but they also know that I believe in Angel Reese. They know that I truly believe that she is a better player than Caitlin Clark. For what reason you say that, bro, Claude? Angel Reese is a two-way player. She also is a natural rim protector. She also is a natural rebounder. She also is a natural passer. The only informality that she has is, of course, around the rim. But
now I would say the 3-pointer. She's had the mid-range. She shot the 3-point.
She's working around the rim right now, because Kim Mulkey took her away from her natural position for 2 years. She did not have that growth that you would have in college, that normal people, because I played college ball too, right? So that you would have in college. Those 2 years that she went to LSU, she was not so much in that law of use that she was being over there in Maryland, or that she was there in high school, that she had the chance to do in grammar school. If you go and watch all of that footage, I was already aware.
Or even last year in Chicago. Or even last year in Chicago.
I was just going to say, she was given.
That's her natural basketball.
She was given the ball in. So that's why I give Tyler Marsh just a little bit of grace, because he wanted Angel Reese to run the point. a lot of the times, most of the times doing pressure. So I'm not mad at Tyler Marsh about.
And by the way, I've said the same thing and received a lot of abuse when I've said that. I'll give Tyler Marsh credit for one thing.
No,
he not only did what he did, but he talked about it.
He wanted her to be who she is now. So when Angel just is upset about this whole situation. You seen her hug Tyler Marsh. You saw her talk to Tyler Marsh. So she not mad at Tyler, but she can't give that organization credit because they didn't want her. So no, she gives it to Semesco. But Semesco is not the one who ignited the original Angel Reese. Right now, Semesco is suppressing the original.
I agree.
Reese.
Can I say this real quick, bro, Claude?
Go ahead.
Matter of fact, Tyler Marsh was quoted in 2 articles where on one he was saying that they were trying to bring her to what AT was. Like that was a development track that they wanted to have her on. Because if you remember, AT didn't become AT until what, the 4th season or the 6th season or something like that.
Her 5th season.
Right. Whereas he had her doing that in her second season, and they say she averaged the most assists. I find this hard to believe, but that was the quote. So someone could fact check me on it. The most assists for a second-year player that was a forward. That was a forward or a front court player. She averaged
as a 4.
Right. And she averaged 3.75, and she played with her face to the basket, which is totally different than what she played in her rookie season with Teaspoon. Tyler Marsh, like a lot of, and I don't mean to say Clarkies, but I have to, right, bro, Claude? They have this caricature of Angel down low trying to muscle over some 6'6" person, and that's all she does, or grabbing an offensive rebound.
That's not what she does.
Wait. In her rookie year, that's exactly what she did.
Right, but that wasn't her second year. That's what I'm saying.
Her rookie year, she didn't. Her game was to get the ball in the post and muscle her way to the basket.
And
she didn't have no mid range. She couldn't pop out and do all of those things in her rookie year. She was very limited in her rookie year.
She did shoot the three. Now she did shoot the 3-pointer a little bit in her rookie year. She did go coast to coast a little bit in her rookie year. She just didn't do those things.
Really. No,
she did.
Teaspoon didn't want her to use the.
No, she didn't do it. She wasn't doing that.
Teaspoon did not want to hurt. Listen, I'm gonna just keep it.
It's just coaching philosophy. Teaspoon wanted one thing. Tyler Marsh wanted something else. Smesco wanted something else.
Absolutely.
But Smesco wants something else.
But because go ahead.
I'll let you say this, bro, Clark. Because if you remember, when they brought her over to Atlanta, both Smesco and the general manager said, we don't want to talk about her rebounding. We don't want to talk about her defense. We want to talk about what she can bring to the team offensively with her versatility, with pushing up the court, with the ball handling, with the passing, blah, 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 blah.
Now, I think because that
was because of what they saw with Chicago, right, in her second year. Now, I think Jordan Canada has affected her development in this sense. At one point, it looked like Angel was going to do that point forward thing, and then Canada started playing very well. And now, all of a sudden, Jordan Canada is not playing well again, with all due respects to BD and her championships in Seattle. She's not playing well again. So now the team is at a conundrum because because Canada is now doing 3 to 6 turnovers a game. She's having a poor shooting percentage, and she's not setting the team up herself. So we don't know what's going to happen with this team.
Well, here's the thing about the dream.
Bree Jones is still not starting.
I mean to cut you off, but here's the thing about the dream. Angel Reese is a very versatile player. She's a 3-level. She can be a 3-level scorer, right? We all know this. She's very versatile. But, and I'm going to keep saying this, and I know y'all don't like it, but I'm going to say it anyway. When you are the greatest EST at something, you're supposed to play to that. It's one thing to be great at something. It's another thing to be greater, ER, at something. But when you are the greatest, again, EST, that means you have no more ceiling left. That means there's nowhere else for you to go. You understand what I'm saying? And Angel Reese is by far the greatest EST rebounder ever to play in the WNBA. And for them not to play to that is absurd work to me in a basketball sense. It's absurd.
I hear you, BD, but it's a coach's choice, just like what Tyler Marsh did last year and what Teaspoon
But
did.
he still played to her rebounding strength, though. Semesco
both Tyler and Tyler did.
Semesco is not. Angel is forcing Will to rebound the way she is.
But
Semesco want her to be more on the out than she is on the end, and this is what BD is talking about.
Yeah, it's stupid.
Yeah,
it's fucking stupid.
Because the way his offense,
nobody say is dumb. When you're the greatest at something, you're supposed to play to that. You think they gave Jordan the ball on the elbow just to be giving him the ball on the elbow? No, they gave Jordan the ball on the elbow because he was the greatest mid-range motherfucker ever to play. And they couldn't stop him. They couldn't double him. They couldn't triple him. It didn't matter.
No,
because he was the greatest at it.
Yes.
Am I lying, bro, Cord?
Yes,
Am I lying?
No, you're not.
But look, Smesco, and that's another conversation. We can't get into him tonight with the bigger issues that we have. But we all agree that he's soft, he's not creative, he don't put his foot down. Like even last night, another podcaster, I won't say their name, but another podcaster said something I didn't even think about, but it made a lot of sense. They said that he should have went off on those refs early in the game to let them know that my team is not getting any calls because, like Natalie Nakasi said, she'd rather get the tech than her players. And if I'm wrong, someone in the chat tell me I'm wrong. I think it came out when you started the show, Bro Claude, so I couldn't play back the tape because you had already put me on microphone. That Angel herself may have been sick or had the flu during that game. I think that may or may not had come out. But whether it did or whether it didn't, Smesco, you got to stand up for your players. If you see that, like if you're not going to coach differently, pick and pops, a lot of cuts, a lot of backdoor or mid-range, because he doesn't like shooting the mid-range. But if you want to play the same game that you're playing, then you got to yell at these refs to get better calls. So I'm not going to say
MSL. You talking about a motherfucker who didn't crash when this woman got thrown on her head. And you think he gonna crash on some refs about some basketball shit? This woman got thrown on her head and he didn't crash out. What are you talking about?
You're right. No, I can't even argue with you. You're right. Can't even argue with you. You're right. But look, I don't like to knock people for their demeanor because Tom Landry, right, with the Dallas Cowboys, right, he had the top hat, he had the suit, he had the tie and the stoic demeanor, and he was a Christian. But I'm assuming he was a mofo when he got in his player's face. Am I right, Bro Claude?
Yes. So
yes.
Dude, hold on a second. What I'm gonna do is, you guys, I got that text. So we at the 2-hour mark here, and at the 2-hour mark, I have to go do the commercial real quick, and then after these messages, we're gonna give our final words.
Hey there.
Hey, baby, did you buy that shea butter that smell good?
You know I brought some Bread House Butters.
Got a package for you.
Oh my gosh, thank you. I've been waiting for this.
You are very welcome. Have a great day.
Bread House Butters and Essentials keeps my skin looking good and smelling good. Their pineapple and mango scented shea butter are my favorite.
So as our subject had spinned off of the white privilege facts, we are now going to go into our final words of this game. And please do not, everybody try not, and do not interrupt anybody. MDT, you're going to go first. Give me your final thoughts on what happened today and the sum up of the game. And then, of course, where we're going. So that's a 3-part question. Where do we go from here?
Okay, so I think we're going to have about a week's worth of content off of this game for a variety of reasons. I mentioned earlier that I think they're going to run this foul on Sophie, and that's going to get a lot of play on certain outlets. And then on the other side, there's going to be people celebrating what happened with the Clark situation and the technical getting rescinded with no sort of discussion on why she was even in that position in the first place. We won't hear any of that. We might get into some stuff about how the game went today. I think her and Kelsey Mitchell went for over 20 points, so we'll hear some of that. And I'm sure ESPN will be happy that they're going to have their game as scheduled on Tuesday. But overall, it's just going to be a case to where they're going to have to let this play itself out. I don't know if there's any way out of it. It just seems to me that for this league, not due in part to themselves all the time, they do have a way of stepping in it one way or another, this player, that player, any player, and they can't get out of their own way. And although I think in many respects they are easy targets because this is a successful women's league for the first time, and the big majority of the players are either black or gay, and that makes for easy targets. And some of these women are girl bosses, and some people have a problem with all of those things, and it makes for a lot of content out there. And the other panel members here have talked about what appears on this outlet versus that outlet, mainstream media versus media in the independent place or source. And it could get very chaotic, very toxic, and could lead to a lot of fatigue. And I almost guarantee that Bro Claude's going to make a video this week somewhere down the line because of something that is going to upset him, rightfully so, about something that he read or heard that somebody sent to him, that we're going to be right where we were in the middle of the night 3 days ago, where he's going to say, man, I'm tired of this. Why can't we just keep it basketball? Today was mostly basketball, but it seems like in this case, it's going to become politicized and go to certain places where it shouldn't go, because to what the other panel members said on here, those people aren't watching the game. They're not even casuals. They're just weaponizing whatever they can to drive their own traffic, to drive their own narrative, to drive a story home in the name of these players. So I'll end it there, guys. Thanks for having me today, MSL. Always good to see you again, Big Dog. I'll see you tomorrow, Bro Claude. I'll see you again. Bye, guys.
My man.
Mic drop. He just steps off, right?
Yep. BD, you can go ahead and say your piece, brother. You already know this your home. Go ahead.
Where do I start? If we talking about the game itself, the game today, the Sky had plenty of chances to win this game. They were in this game all the way to the end. Like, they had their chances. They've struggled all year closing games out. They would play good for 35 minutes, and then the last 5 minutes of the game, they just seem to fall apart. That seems to have been their pattern. There seems to be their pattern this year. They play well for 35 minutes, and then the last 5 minutes of the game, they fall apart. As for what MDT said about the content stuff, yeah, you're going to get a lot of content out of this. And it's a lot of storylines that come out of this game. And for me, the W just continues to shoot itself in the foot. Just every week is something different. More drama, more buffoonery. You know what I mean? Just every week just seems to be something different. Them shooting themselves in the foot. But the main thing I would like to tackle one day, Bro Claude, is the gap. I know that we have a gap between the CC fan base and the Angel Reese fan base. I don't know if that could be repaired. But I do think there is a gap that can be repaired. And that's the gap between the so-called real fans and the so-called casual fans, right? Like there's a gap there too. And that's the gap that we need to fix because all fans should be welcome to watch the W. We shouldn't be pitting fans that been watching the W like me and you've been watching the W since 97, right? Against fans like whoever who just started watching the W maybe 3-4 years ago. You understand what I'm saying? We shouldn't be alienating them because they don't know the history. We should be teaching them. You understand what I'm saying? Because the W didn't start with Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. You have Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark now because of Cheryl Swoops and Tina Thompson and Rebecca Lobo and Teresa Weatherspoon and Dawn Staley and so on and so forth. You understand what I'm saying? And we need to be able to bridge that gap. So my hope is that we're able sometime this year, next year, the year after, to be able to bridge that gap so we could bring the casual fans along and not alienate them to the point where we got to argue back and forth with them. Oh, you don't watch, so you can't have an opinion. You understand what I'm saying? Shit like that is not good. Especially when you're trying to bring folks into the game. I want to bring folks into the game. I want folks to enjoy the women, not to alienate them because they just started watching, so their opinions don't mean anything because they just started watching. Or I know more than you do because I've been watching it longer, so you can't tell me nothing. Yeah, stuff like that. That's bad for everybody, in my opinion. So with I'll use my final words. Can we find a way to bridge the gap between the real fans and the casual fans so we could stop using those terms, real fans and casual fans, when at the end of the day, we're all just fans? And I'll land there. Thank you for having me, bro, Clark.
Hey, thank you, brother. I appreciate you. You always welcome. You already know. You say the right thing.
And 3D, we got to talk about where you were at Barbie Day, because I had no idea he was there, and he had no idea I was there.
Yeah.
And you didn't really get to finish showing your stuff, bro, Clark, because I think it's important for people to know what that experience was like. To BD's argument,
she wins.
To BD's argument of bringing fans together, which is not necessarily my argument, but since he brought it up, I think it's just like the political divide. In women's basketball right now, it's a dichotomy of what's also happening politically, and obviously, I believe that's done on purpose, so it's not a surprise. So to BD's argument, you have one group of fans who see the sport one way. Those are the traditional fans, the Angel Reese fans, etc. And then you have another group of fans that see it completely differently. Many of those are the Caitlin Clark fans, mainly, and people who identify as conservative or right-wing or whatever, who just dabble in the sport. And one of the reasons why, just like politically, there's a lot of infighting and hate and nonsense is because people don't know what's going on in the other side, right? It's like when they talk about prejudice or racism, right? If you actually knew a black person, was friends with a black person, grew up around black people, then you wouldn't be that way, right? Kind of like what they say about Paige, kind of like what they say about the women in the W on a whole. They're very open. So Barbie night is one of those things that I think it doesn't shock any of us, obviously, but it would shock a lot of people on the so-called other side if they actually saw that crowd. And guess what? If it didn't faze them, then guess what, bro, Claude? Then these people are not real fans. They're just there for other reasons, because you're not going to convince someone. And I'm not saying these are all the fans. I'm just calling it out. You can talk about slavery from the 1800s, from the 1700s. You could talk about colonialism. You could talk about black people founding the earth and doing all these things thousands of years ago up to modern times, which is all true. It ain't gonna make a difference to any of these people because they're not there to support the sport, and they're not there to like the players. They're just there to cause trouble. So from that perspective, you're not going to get these people together. The only people BD can get together are the ones who are interested in the sport, but they're just misinformed. So it's people like you and people like BD and people like Brooklyn and people like ADP and people like Tony and KSAP and Keisha and Duval. They're the ones that are informing these people to understand the sport better, because a lot of Angel Reese fans, they came in for Angel Reese, but they stayed for the basketball.
Yes.
And they now have multiple WNBA players that they like or that they're fans of, and that's the way it should be. But unfortunately, there's a group of fans who proudly exclaim they don't even like the sport. They make fun of women. They don't think women's sports is exciting or entertaining. And I don't really understand that, right? So nobody watches women's track and field. Nobody watches women's tennis. Nobody watches women's gymnastics. Nobody watches women's ice skating. Nobody, like, I don't really, I mean, you got guys now watching women's boxing, but you can't watch women's.
I watch women's boxing.
Right, but you can't watch women's basketball. That either means you're a chauvinist, or you're a racist, or you're just not interested.
UFC.
Or you're just not interested, but you want to hate on Black women, as a lot of people say, or you want to hate on lesbian women. Otherwise, why are you here? Like, why are you here? Like, I saw people say there were dozens of people at Barbie night, Bro Claude. Dozens. They said dozens. They said nobody showed up. With the Atlanta Dream Games, you have people say, oh, nobody's in the stands. Well, guess what?
Not true.
They've already topped the audience this year that they had all last year, because the tickets are all bought in advance.
No, in the last 7 years, they haven't had a consistent crowd of this type of nature and stature. And they also admitted they financially missed the button of not booking. When they heard that Angel was coming, they did not book the Hawks Stadium when they had a chance to do it before the attendance schedule came out. But go ahead, Cookie.
Just like Chicago, you call Chicago a poorly run organization. So what the other side used to do, they used to go, oh, well, Indiana, look at their crowd. Look at Chicago's crowd, right? Chicago, I think the first year Angel was there, average.
We selling out. She had four.
Right. Queen said
that it wasn't filled. She had
right.
4.
But what people forgot, what they never told you, and this is the problem, was that when Chicago won that title in 2021, nobody showed up because it's a poorly run team. Then the following year,
that's not true. It was
okay. Relative.
It was 6,300 people that was there.
No, I'm talking about the following year.
No, after the championship,
the following year.
Oh yeah.
What I'm saying is, because when Angel came, Angel came, they had much more attendance than the following year when they won the title. But unless you understand that Chicago was a very poorly run team, it wouldn't make sense. And no one in the media explained it. So that's the point. Same thing with this Atlanta team. They have a small gym, but it's sold out. It's sold out. Whether people show up, whether people show up or not for the games, that's up to them. But it's sold out because obviously resellers, they'll buy some of the tickets and they'll resell it for $200, $300, $400 or whatever because of the size of the arena. Those tickets cost a lot of money.
When I was there Saturday last week, you was there with me. It was standing room only. I didn't see no empty seats because if the seat was empty, I quickly seen somebody come and returning with some food, and then somebody was in, somebody was in line to get a drink or go to the washroom, and that seat was refilled because it was a madhouse. And this was before Barbie night, guys. This was when Flajay had this was Seattle, and it was a madhouse.
But the last game, the last game they had there, which team was that? I don't remember.
Seattle.
No, after Seattle.
Oh.
Before Washington.
No, the Aces.
Okay, then no, they played one more game. They played a game at College Park at Gateway. I don't remember who it was. Let me look in the chat. You know they always quick with stuff. But that game, they had like the stands didn't look full, but whether that was because people were out or
they played the Suns.
Okay, the Suns. Right, when they played the Suns, and that was before.
But they was at Connecticut. They wasn't at home.
No, you talking about the Mercury, not the Suns. The Mercury.
The Mercury was at home.
Yeah, they played the Mercury.
Mm-hmm.
Right, that game. Right, that game had some empty seats, but those seats are still sold out. Though that's the point I'm trying to make. It's not like they didn't sell the seats. The seats already sold out because they surpassed the attendance already this year than they had all of last year.
Thanks.
But this is not stuff that's communicated because there's a lot of negative information. And normally I don't pay attention to the negative information. I know some podcasters talk about it, some podcasters don't. But when I stumble on it, you know, sometimes I'll respond or correct to it because it's all lies. And these people believe the lies. And then they come in our chats and they say this stuff. So the question is, are they bots? Are they paid? Are they liars? Or they're just stupid? And that's always the part that you're always trying to distinguish. So to Big Dog's comment of bringing the fans together, you can only bring fans together who truly want to enjoy or like the sport. If they just want to sit around and call people names and stuff like that, then they're not really interested in the sport.
Mm-hmm.
Because the sport in itself is very exciting, very enjoyable, very good. It has a lot of problems, but it's the league. It's self-induced. It's the problems that the league creates itself. And some people in the chat have already said, Bro Claude, I don't mean to get you mad, that DiJonai has been threatened already and all this stuff like that. That's a problem.
No, I know that's going to happen. I know that. I know that's what it is.
That's a problem. But the problem is neither ESPN or the league will make it a big deal because it always reflects back on Clark, now Sophie, or Indiana fans, and they don't want any negative publicity to that. So the real question is, Bro Claude, and I'm going to actually ask you this question. Like you said, if this league was run like Unrivaled, we wouldn't be up here right now. We'd be talking about other stuff. But because it's not run like Unrivaled, now you have players being threatened. What is Kathy or the league going to say about it? Because the league can do something about it. The league can have a no tolerance position, and they'll tell people, we will fine you, we will prosecute you, or we'll report you to your job, et cetera, et cetera. I guarantee you 3/4 of this stuff would stop if the league said they would crack down on it and fine you through your internet, your internet router.
Mm-hmm.
But the league doesn't want to because they already know who the culprit is. It's either themselves or people who respond to the stuff that they put out. That's how I look at it.
Well,
what do you think, Bro Claude? What are you looking at, by the way?
I'm actually texting DiJonai Carrington to tell her I'm down the street.
You trying to have DiJonai come over for coffee, Bro Claude?
No, I'm telling her that I'm down the fucking street. And if she get any threats or any problems,
okay, that's what you're talking about.
Yeah, if it's any fucking problem, I'm down the street. Straight up. So that's all. That's all.
So
we
regarding what happened,
look, listen, we at 2 hours and 30 minutes. We is not gonna be. You not finna get me in trouble.
Okay.
I asked you them 3 questions, and you answered those questions, and you gave us some more. So what we gonna do is this, because you be trying to give up stuff that we finna do on the next show. You be giving up stuff. You gotta keep them in hold, brother. That's it's show business you enter.
I know you always got to give them something else, right?
Yeah, you got to hold on to some of the stuff because we we got something else coming. So guys, listen, go to my different channels that I have. If you guys would like to support and support what I got going on, I got a Bulls channel. I also got a Chicago Bears channel. But on the Bulls channel, I'll be talking about exclusive NBA talk. I'll be talking about exclusive NBA talk, and you will love exactly what I bring to the table because I'm very knowledgeable in the NBA business. And also, y'all already know and saw me get down for football and know how I love me some Chicago Bears and love the way the Chicago Bears have been put together this year. So you can go over to my podcast and you could also, you know what I mean, you can subscribe if you do, you know what I mean, like football, NFL, you can subscribe over there and just come in, pick your head in, you know, and check us out. I got a couple videos that I just released over there on the Bears channel and the Bulls channel. I got a couple videos that I have released on those channels also. So therefore, I'm running 4 channels: the Players Club, my Steady Serv'N Sports ENT, Steady Serv'N Bulls basketball, and Steady Serv'N Chicago Bears football. So I'm also definitely available. Hit me up, call me, text me, or you can get me on the Instagram to find out more on the things that I'm trying to get done on a broader scale. And then, of course, y'all know I live the entrepreneur life. So everything is time, everything is money, everything is responsible. But I put it in the chat, the Chicago Bulls, the Steady Serv'N Bulls channel, and I put the Chicago Bears podcast in the chat. So go over there. If you want to subscribe, please do. And then, of course, you guys, I talk about all of football, all of it. And you guys was with me last year and know that I'm a big football head, a big Chicago football guy, definitely a diehard fan of all my Chicago teams. You can go over there and subscribe to the channel here on this channel. If you would like to give a super chat or a super sticker, please do and support the channel. Also, you could join the channel, be a part of the channel, and also me and MSL's conversations at 10 o'clock at night. He's always my co-host, being here in the Simply Ball Dropping Networks, so you could definitely catch him and me at 10 o'clock at night. But you could also go at 8 o'clock in the morning, that I'll be on every morning, 8 o'clock. You can check me out. That's right, the leaders of the new school in the morning. And I definitely will acknowledge and appreciate you guys rocking out with me with a cup of coffee in my hand, your hand, and everybody else's hand that has a grand. Bars. That's all I'm saying. Bars. I'm just saying, man, y'all know that your brother work hard. I'm just asking for y'all support. I'm asking for your subscription to the channel. We got about 20 more subscribers to go. 20 more subscribers to go, and we are almost at the goal. Man, y'all are beautiful, phenomenal people. Hey, Steady Serv'N Sports, go to this channel. If you have not subscribed, hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button, because Keisha gonna slap the hell out of me and make sure that I tell the people to hit the like button. But we have been on here 2:37 on a Saturday night. Been on here since 8, and I'm gonna go ahead and get myself together, be ready and willing for my wife, and give her some family time in the midst of all of that. Thank you, Andy, for coming through, Loose Ball for coming through, BD Sports coming through, because y'all know I keep a spade, and I do. Doesn't matter who you root for, it's as long as you stay truthful. Y'all, I thank you for what you've done. I thank you for what you do. And I thank you for what you will do. But please, for me, turn on your notifications every time I drop a hot banger. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel as I ask. Give to the channel as I ask. And as always, I leave as I came with another bang. So much, my awesome co-host. I just got to get him to let everybody else talk because he be so right for real, and I don't even be trying to shut him up because he be giving them the business, and I don't even have to do nothing. So who don't want a co-host like that? I'm just saying, thank you, brother. Appreciate you always having my back when you've been here and been up here and doing your thing. So God bless you. I appreciate
you. I learned from the master.
Hey, sent me a helper, man, and you are that. So y'all, look, tune in the morning on Monday, and then tomorrow, me, K-Sap, and brother MSL will be on at 9:30 on Get That Off Your Chest podcast.
Yeah. This K-Sap and Bro Claude. Welcome to the show. No filter, no rest. Get it off your chest. Talk to him. Say it with your chest. Let's go. If you got something on your mind, get it off your chest. From the locker room talk to the plays on the screen. We break down every moment, every stat, every scene. No sugarcoat now. We keep it real in the zone. From the sidelines to the headlines, we bring it home. Quarterback pressure, fourth down decisions. We calling out truth, no fear in our vision. Say what you feel, don't hold it inside. Sports talk therapy, let it all ride. Wins and the losses we analyze best. This is get it off your chest. Now confess, get it off your chest. Say it with your chest. No filter on the mic, we don't come here to rest. Get it off your chest. Say it with your chest. Every game, every play, we break down the best. Get it off your chest.
See y'all, man. See y'all tomorrow. Chicago. Chicago.